I have an Easter egg for you from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Empire was released in 1980. Only a year before, in '79, the James Bond film Moonraker was released. This is the fourth Bond film with Roger Moore. In this one, a billionaire megalomaniac named Hugo Drax wants to nerve gas the entire planet so his hand-picked genetically perfect cult can repopulate the Earth after laying low on a space station built by the Drax Corporation. 40 years after Moonraker, it still remains the only film where James Bond travels in space, and is remarkable in that it portrays the fictional use of space shuttles before the first one actually went into orbit in 1981. But the real reason for James Bond's unique 1979 trip into space is what many on the internet have called a Star Wars cash-in. After the 1977 release of Episode 4, there was a great hunger for science fiction and space-traveling heroes dodging laser bolts, and Moonraker delivered, doing well at the box office. While the Star Wars inspiration for Moonraker has been obvious for a long time, no videos have been made about Empire ripping off Moonraker. Two fight scenes from these films are strangely similar, and since Moonraker was first, maybe George Lucas was inspired by Bond. We're talking about Luke Skywalker's epic fight with Darth Vader in Cloud City, and James Bond's melee with a Drax assassin in a Venetian glass museum early in that film. Bond's masked opponent is wearing a black kendo suit when the fight starts and attacks him with a bamboo sword. In this, I think we might still be talking about Moonraker mimicking Star Wars with some of the imagery. But other aspects of this encounter are strangely similar to the Cloud City fight. For one, the start of each fight scene is very similar. Bond and Luke both leave well-lit areas into darker ones. Luke from a bright hallway into the carbonite chamber, and Bond from a well-lit lab into an alleyway. Each seem to have a premonition of trouble before they spot their adversary. Perhaps Bond has low-level use of the Force.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
Bond's clothing is very similar to Luke's, and the combatants fight over a large indoor area through many rooms. Once, Bond loses track of the assassin, just as Luke loses track of Vader. Both turn on lights while they search for their enemy, and both are ambushed suddenly when their enemy reemerges once, though Luke actually loses track of Vader twice. Both Bond and Luke climb upwards towards the ceiling once to escape their enemy, Bond a chain that leads to another level, and Luke some kind of hose that's part of the carbonite tech. The most striking similarity is the fighting in front of two circular windows in each film, where one combatant flies out of it during each combat. In Moonraker, Bond throws the villain out of the window, while Luke flies out from some kind of depressurization when Vader force chucks random objects at Luke, and he falls to the walkway that he eventually leaps off of to escape Vader. The last thing is a little odd. The villain Bond slays is given a close-up hanging upside down from the bottom of the piano he struck as he fell, with some wires all around his neck, while Luke ends up hanging upside down from the bottom of Cloud City, with antennae all around his head. Is this whole thing a big nothing burger and not really an Easter egg? Maybe I'm not the first one to make note of it. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching.